Okay, I hope you guys are all ready to learn some trig properties. The first few that we're going to look at you already know. Cotangent of x is equal to 1 over tangent. Cosecant of x is equal to 1 over sine. And then secant of x is equal to 1 over cosine. We've already done these in the last chapter. Go ahead and take a moment to memorize these or write them down somewhere. Here are a few more trig properties that you should already know. Tangent of x is equal to sine x over cosine x. And cotangent of x is equal to cosine x over sine x. Go ahead and take a minute to write these two down or try to memorize them as much as possible. All right, so now we're going to take those properties and try to use them in proofs, kind of like the proofs we did in geometry, but these are a little bit more informal proofs. All right, the way you do them is you take what they give you and you try to simplify it as much as you can so that it looks like what they want. Okay? The key is, the rule of thumb is, you want to change everything so that it's basically in sine or cosine, because those are the two trig functions that we're most familiar with. All right, so in this problem, cotangent is what we need to simplify. Cotangent's property is cosine over sine, so we would just replace the cotangent with that. And then notice this sign cancels with this sign, and we're left with cosine x. And that is all we have to do. Once we get it that far, we're pretty much done. And that is how you do these trigonometric proofs. All right, let's do another trigonometric proof. Here we have sine of x times secant of x times cotangent of x, and we're trying to make it look like it's 1 by simplifying everything. Well, sine of x is fine, but let's go ahead and substitute secant and cotangent with one of those 5 properties. Okay, secant turns into that, and then cotangent turns into that. Now we can cancel a few things. This cosines go away, and then these signs go away. Remember, this is actually on top when there's nothing there, and this is on bottom, so they do cancel out. And notice the only thing left over is the 1. And that's what we were trying to prove. All of that equal to 1. They're not too bad. Okay, let's go ahead and try another one. Cosine squared of x, that's fine. Cosecant we need to change, and secant we need to change. And somehow we have to simplify it so that it looks like cotangent. All right? Notice for cosine squared, I just wrote it twice, which is normal. Cosecant, the property is 1 over sine, and secant, the property is 1 over cosine. Let's see. This cosine cancels out this cosine, and it looks like nothing else cancels out, so we're left with cosine and then sine underneath. So there's cosine on top and sine underneath, and then we should recognize that this is also a property. Cosine of x divided by sine of x is cotangent of x. All right, there's our proof. Sometimes they don't tell you what to simplify, what it simplifies to. They just tell you to simplify it to a non-fraction single term. So they give you one expression, but then they don't tell you what it's supposed to simplify to. Your job is to simplify as much as possible to get it to a non-fraction single term. Here we have secant that we can substitute, and cosecant we can substitute with the properties like that. Notice sine squared, so I wrote it twice. And then secant turns into 1 over cosine, and cosecant turns into 1 over sine. If you notice, one of these will cancel out one of these, and then you're left with just a sine over a cosine. And then sine over cosine actually has a property, and it's tangent. And so that's what we're trying to get it down to. One single term. Here's one last example for the day. Let's see what that turns into. We'll have to change this, and then cosine can stay. Oh, this is just a lowercase phi. It's a Greek letter, just like this one over here is a theta. Forgot to tell you that these are Greek letters that we're using now. Rather than using x or y as variables, we switch over to Greek letters. I don't know if this is phi or is it sigma. It might be sigma. Yeah. When you guys join fraternities and sororities, you'll learn all about the Greek letters. All right, so let's go ahead and simplify them. Cosecant and tangent have those properties. Cosecant is 1 over sine. Tangent is sine over cosine. Notice that this can cancel out with this, and this can cancel out with this, and we are left with just 1 as our answer. All right? Okay, that is all we have for today. If you are watching these videos, I need you to look up sigma and theta, because I might put that on the quiz and I want you guys to get easy points. Sigma and theta. All right? Those are the symbols for, well, not the symbols, just the variables and using Greek letters. All right, that's all we have for today. Go ahead and get started on your homework. Thank you.